let's talk about what I'm going to read this week. I have a work trip coming up, which means I'm going to have a lot of time to read. I think like between plane rides and sitting in a hotel room by yourself, I find that I can literally get the most reading done during a work trip. So I have kind of a like lengthy TBR for the week because I think I can get through like 3 or 4 books. Next up on the list, we have Lonesome Dove. This is not usually the type of book that I gravitate towards. I actually think that I might be gaslighting myself into thinking that I don't like historical fiction because every historical fiction book that I read last year I loved. So maybe it is my type of book now and I just need to realize that my book taste has evolved a little bit. But every single person that I have seen love this book is somebody on TikTok that I like really respect their book taste, and like we have really similar likes and dislikes. So I'm excited to get into this because it doesn't seem like something that I would normally gravitate towards, but there's been so much popular reception of it on BookChalk. It did come out in 1985, so it's kind of surprising to me that this is even like trended at all. But I was really thankful to Simon & Schuster who sent me a copy of this because I'm just excited to like get into it and read something different. That's like normally my book slump busting strategy is to just like pick a new genre. I didn't realize that this is actually part of a series. So chronologically, this is book 3, but publication order, this is book 1. And this is an epic Western. We follow 2 retired Texas Rangers, Gus McCrae and Woodrow Call, as they lead a cattle drive from Texas to Montana. And I've been reading right now the Indigenous Peoples' History of the United States. I'm about halfway through it. And I'm interested to see the like nonfiction fiction parallels. Reading a book about the settling of the United States from the not even the perspective of Indigenous people, but just actually including those stories in that history, and the nonfiction kind of version of that world. This was written in the 80s, so I'm sure that it will definitely be a little bit whitewashed as far as how they talk about it, but I don't know. I haven't gotten into it yet. I haven't really heard that as a criticism, but I've only seen a few people talk about it. So next up on my list is Liquid. This is a part of a series that I'm doing, reading the highest rated and lowest rated books on my physical TBR. This is the lowest rated with 2.93 stars on Goodreads. I have a lot of questions about that rating because it seems like such a great premise to me. So I don't know if it's execution based or if it's just the actual subject of the book that has people rating it low. I tend to not trust Goodreads reviews at all, which is why I think that this has been a fun way to tackle my physical TBR, just going by the highest rated and lowest rated and figuring out like what my rating is of it. Essentially, this is about an unnamed narrator who has the goal to marry rich. So she creates this project and puts it all in a spreadsheet, hence the cover being an actual spreadsheet. And her goal is to get engaged to one of her rich suitors by the end of the year, when a family emergency ends up taking her to Tehran, and she has to confront the entire project and whether it's worth it, and herself and her relationship with her family, and just all of the different things that go into choosing a spouse for yourself in a life. And so I'm interested to get into it. I think that this is going to be good. I think that Goodreads is going to be wrong, so don't forget to hit that follow button if you want to know more about this book later this week. Next up, we have Men at Arms by Terry Pratchett. I was not familiar with Terry Pratchett's game. I don't know why you all decided to keep him a secret from me, but oh my gosh. I read Guards over this last week and literally just giggled for 300 pages. If you don't know, I didn't know, Terry Pratchett writes satirical fantasy. They're absolutely hysterical. If you like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, kind of that drier British humor, you will love Terry Pratchett. The writing style is a little weird to get used to because there's no chapters, it just goes. So that was, once you get kind of acquainted with that, they're phenomenal. It did take me a little bit of time to get used to the writing style. I will absolutely say that. But yeah, that was my first foray into the Discworld world, and I absolutely loved it. I'm doing Men at Arms with a buddy read over on the gram. Just there's I think like 15 or 20 people in that group read, but they're fast, fun-paced books. It was nice to read Guards last week because I was reading Parable of the Sower, Parable of the Talents, and an Indigenous People's History of the United States, and needed something to laugh at, so I didn't just like put my head through a wall because all of the current events plus those 3 books was just like rage. So if you need a little bit of a maybe palate cleanser, I would highly suggest Terry Pratchett. I'm gonna be mad at you all for like a while for not telling me that he existed or about his books. So, sit with yourselves for that. The last thing is I am finishing the Indigenous Peoples History of the United States. I'm about halfway through that audiobook right now. And reading that book alongside the Parable of the Sower and the Parable of the Talents, and many other books that I've consumed over the last year, kind of along with current events in this last week, we say so frequently, online especially, that like we're living in unprecedented times. And I think the more that I consume history from the perspective of minorities or read stories that represent the perspective of minorities and kind of tell their story, the more and more you see that these times are actually not unprecedented at all. They were actually completely predictable. There is no part of the United States history that has not been extremely violent. There is no part of United States history since the first boat hit land here that has not been extremely violent. The only thing that is unprecedented about the current events that we're living through, like even in this last week, is that now it is also happening to white people. That is different. But the powers at be in the United States have been violent towards minorities since our inception. I think that consuming history is really important right now, and understanding that decentralizing the like white narrative of this is the first time that violence has ever happened on this scale in this country is so important to actually be able to tackle it and actually be able to move forward. I would love to know in the comments if you guys have read any of these books, if you plan on reading any of them, or what you're reading this week. So make sure to drop me a comment, and then if you want to hear my full thoughts on any of these books after I finish them, hit that plus button, and I will see you guys in the next one.